Welcome, Pisces, to your June beginning of the month reading. Hope you friends are doing great out there. Welcome back, all subscribers. Anyone new, welcome, welcome. If you guys like this, hit that big old like button. Okay, guys, let's get in here and see what's going on. This message is coming out. Clearing the way is in reverse. I love it. Love it. I just got to say it right off the bat. Love it. Saying whatever was standing in the way seems to have been taken out of the way, or you have jumped over that hurdle. Right? And that's the energy you're pushing out right now. You're saying this was in my way and I pushed through it. So right now I feel like I'm kind of free from that situation. Okay? So having the scribe come out. Scribe is about writing. It's about, communication. It's, it could be even publishing it, right? It could even be those text messages from someone that you're committed to, something that you're committed to. So whatever you're feeling free from, it could be even, something that maybe had to do with, maybe you're taking a test, right? Maybe there was something going on legally, however, but it does feel like you have pushed through this. Whatever this commitment was, and feeling like I don't have to be in that hurdle, having that blockage with them anymore. Maybe there was a text that you had that was coming in that freed this commitment and made this commitment stronger, right? Or maybe you freed yourself from a commitment. Ooh, right? Light of the world. See how that's going to go, right? On track. Well, you put yourself back on track. So wherever you felt like you were not on track, you're saying, I am now freeing myself from this, seeing the light of the world, seeing where where the opposition was. I want to keep saying opposition. There was an opposition that was in the way, and I have freed myself from that, and it's taken me back to where I feel that I'm on track to get to where it needs to be, right? And let's see what's going on. At least the good news is you will be back on track. Not feeling like you're wasting time anymore. Yeah, on the scribe, it's like, it feels like this message or whatever you're going through is made you very kind of over emotional about the situation, or you're dealing with someone who is just very insincere and maybe over emotional. But also I feel like there was a lot of turbulence and a lot of, it's almost become to the point to where this obstacle is almost intolerable, because that's a card of intolerance as well. So it's kind of like, oh my gosh, how much more am I going to tolerate of this, right? Within this commitment, there was a lot of negativity, but it is saying within this commitment, there is a lot of releasing pain. This could definitely be a hurdle that you're having here with a love situation where you guys are in the, through this message, through this communication, of even kind of bitterness comes this forgiveness. It's like this open communication brings in this transition of forgiveness and optimism, recovery, right? Moving on, right? Whether or not we're moving on away from each other or we're going to move on with each other, right? Right now, it's just moving on away from this bitterness, this intolerance. The light of the world over here is saying that there is a lot of mercy and a lot of inner calling, right? Where there was a lot of negative thoughts and a lot of restrictions that were going on within your life. This hurdle has given you a lot of restrictions, making you might even feel imprisoned, to the situation, restricting you from going out and feeling like you're on track, right? Because I'm so in my head about this situation. And if you are in like jury duty or something like that, you may actually feel imprisoned. I know I always did. I just never liked it. But with this comes this on track that's saying now it's finally the time to where things are letting go. You can find the new perspective within the situation, and there's a lot more acceptance. I'm accepting this, and this way it's now over and done with. We can either move on our separate ways. And it's going to be okay. Whether we're moving together or moving in separate ways, it's okay. Because there's a lot of acceptance, with the hangman. So, it's going to depend on the person whether or not, you're saying your goodbyes or you're saying we're going to get through this, get back on track with each other, and learn from the situation, right? That we had just had this major roller coaster. Because it's kind of, the hangman's the card of surrender. Fine, I surrender. Just let me get back to where I need to be. And a lot of it is also surrendering to, to the emotions. Giving and receiving. So if you guys are dealing with a love situation, there is going to be a lot more giving and receiving, and maybe that's where the hurdles were coming from. Maybe you felt like you were giving a lot and they weren't giving back to the situation. Maybe also, and in some ways too, it almost feels like it could be 2 in 1 for some of you. It feels like maybe you are stuck in some kind of hurdle, like a jury duty or something like that, where you cannot give the commitment to a loved one as well, because you're trying to balance out all these different situations that are going on within your life that has become such a challenge that you can't get back to the loved one. So then that causes a fight as well, right? This is making us not see eye to eye. So then they think maybe you're not giving enough attention to them because you're over here giving too much to a job, giving to jury duty, giving to this, giving to that, and then not coming back to them. But definitely whatever the situation is, there's so many of you, right? You can only get so many ideas over here, right? As they're popping in, I'm throwing it, guys. I'm throwing hard, okay? I'm trying. Joy and stability, right? And you know what? If I don't hit yours, throw mine out and take your own, right? But there definitely is something about giving and receiving over here. And it even could be just to yourself. Maybe you felt like you were giving too much to something and never giving time back to yourself. Okay, but now it's the balance. That's all that really matters right now, is about the now, right? Because now it's saying there's time for joy and stability. There's time for that celebration within self. It's time that I hit this milestone and I feel so comfortable about it that I feel rejuvenated. I have this burst of energy that's coming back to me where I felt so kind of dead, burned out, restricted, don't feel good, don't want to be here, don't want this to happen. Listening to your intuition, listening to everybody around you as well. It feels like it could be 2 in 1. I know that's a card of intuition, but I want to say that somebody else is speaking their mind and you're really paying attention to what this loved one has to say about the situation. Yeah, Page of Pentacles. The new development and the ambition, the news and the information, having some kind of news and information coming in. Well, we got the scribe anyways. So that news and information that's making you feel more relaxed, more like you're in recovery of this, from this terrible thing that you just feel was, either a waste of time, a waste of breath, or just straight up prison, or I can't believe this is happening. Pick your, it's like pick your poison over here. Yeah, because on the joy and stability, you have the, so this is the 4 of Wands to the 4 of Wands to the 6 of Wands, which is saying definitely having the self-confidence and feeling like there is now more achievement going on. So we've back on track. Definitely when I said you're on track, that really means you're definitely back on track. You're back in the saddle again, where you feel comfortable. Because the giving and receiving is saying, I am, 2 of Wands. I am planning and making progress. I've left that place behind and I'm coming back and I'm traveling back to what's good for me. And there could have been a reconciliation, for sure. Okay, because I do have 2 cards of pretty much kind of a reconciliation. You have releasing the past over here and letting all that go for the recovery. And the recovery could definitely be a reconciliation in its own way. But definitely having this is saying that we're going for the goals attained. I have the understanding of what is going on and I'm leaving that all in the past now, and so that I can travel to where it makes me feel comfortable, where I can feel like my throne is, where I can feel like I'm in control of the situations now, because something before was restricting me and holding me back where I couldn't even sit in my throne. So now you're definitely feeling like the emperor. You feel like I'm all balanced now and I have all the discipline, and everything's feeling more practical when everything before was major chaotic, and I wasn't enjoying myself. It was holding me back from work, my love, this, that, fun, right? And so now it just feels like you're departing from that situation. You're definitely traveling the road that you need to be traveling and really feeling centered with the Chariot. And the Chariot says, now we can move on our journey the way we need to move on our journey. We learned some hardships over there when it came to this challenging time. And I had to pause, surrender, look at things from a different insight. But now I've learned. I've learned what it is that I need to learn, and it's made me stronger, because now after I rest, since the Chariot is on top of the Four of Swords, as I rest and recoup, it's like everything's going to fade away. It's just going to become one of those, another learning lessons, another one of those places in my life where those places that we have to go that we don't want to be. God, there's so many of those places, isn't there, my friends? Oh my gosh, it's like, why? Stop taking me these places that I call hell. But those are where we learn. Those are things we have to do that we don't want to do, right? They're obligations. And come on, guys, most obligations suck. That means you're obligated to do something. And most of the time that means I'm obligated, but I don't want to do that. Right? It's like, oh, but this is just not even, this obligation, or whatever is going on, if it's an obligation for you. For others of you, it was just, horrible, horrible stone that was thrown at you that you had to literally leap up from. I mean, literally, it's like, come on, I don't want to do this in a commitment. I don't want to fight. I don't want to do that. Obstacles. Yeah, so it just says you're withdrawing and everything is going to be fine. You're just leaving behind everything, but definitely you have learned. You have learned a lot of things. Even if you don't feel like you learned anything, you did. Your spirit always learns something, one way or another. We're always being tested, right? So if this is a love situation, let's grab some love cards. I feel more love in this one. Than usual. Playfulness. Bringing back that, recapturing that romance, allowing your inner youthful spirit to come through. It's almost like it was dead. It was no fun, right? But now we're getting back to that playfulness. I like that. It was worth waiting for. Yeah, because you had to go through the tests and tribulations of the situation. Okay. It is safe for you to love. Open your heart to give and receive the highest energy of all. And there it is right there, the give and receive. So definitely, right? Six of Pentacles right there saying it's the same. Now we're going to give. Now we've learned. Now we've opened up to each other when it comes to the situation. If it was something else besides love, you know what it is, but you still learned something. Even if it was, I hate jury duty. That's what I learned. Literally, that's what I learned. I don't like getting up that early in the morning, and I don't like sitting there all day long. Okay, it's like if I want to watch court, I'd rather watch it on TV. I've come to the conclusion. It's not as exciting as you think it is. It's like, ooh, this is going to be exciting. No, it's not. It's a lot of details, and you're falling asleep, and you're like, oh my God, I need another Rockstar drink, and where's my coffee, and, It's like at first it seems really exciting, like, ooh, I'm going to figure out who did what. It's like 4 days later, you're like, can we just end this? We already know he did it. Oh my God. Or we know he didn't do it. He was totally framed. Seek to enlarge your appreciation of the beauty of nature, animals, and humans. And I was going to say, and catch your humor too. Catch a little bit of humor. Develop flexibility and aim to be in harmony in all environments. Whew, isn't that the truth, though? I think that one goes with this reading for sure. 100. Okay, my friends. Until next time, peace and love. Bye-bye.